Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a long time coming. As you guys know, I've wanted this interview for quite a while, and finally, we are here with Tomislav, the co-founder of Scum and the creative director at Gamepires. And yes, guys, this is my first interview with any developer. So starting at someone that really inspired me, is very important to me because the metabolism system in Scum was something that really changed the survival aspect for me. Like you guys know, I've played every single survival game out there. And as all of you know, I feel Scum is the best survival game on the planet at the moment with the most innovation that I've seen in a long time. But without talking too much, I just want to welcome Tomislav to our community. And yeah, Tommy, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me here. Just quick hello to everybody who is watching your video.
Okay, so just if you guys are wondering why I'm sitting alone here, Tommy and the team is doing different tests, so it was difficult for him, to get into the test server with me. But yeah, most of you know what I've wanted to discuss, so it's unnecessary. I just wanted to cook him some meat and fish, but I'm sure he understands, or he can at least double check what I'm saying. But first of all, Tommy, I just want to take this time to thank you and the entire team, for all the hard work you've done. I know in the beginning, things weren't that smooth sailing. I'm not even sure if things are smooth sailing at the moment, because I think how many employees have you guys got at the moment?
Currently, around 55 or something like that. The numbers are changing constantly, so it's really hard to say exactly. But I would say somewhere below 60 developers.
Okay, and if I'm right, those people need to get paid salaries, and I feel there's always some kind of financial pressure. Or would you agree?
Yeah, it's always we don't have issues that that we cannot sustain
Yeah.
ourselves, so we're fine regarding that. But actually, regarding the financial side, that's more or less fine. The most problematic thing for us is to educate people, especially newcomers, to give them enough knowledge and everything and experience so that they can be useful for development. That's the hardest part so far that we have experienced in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I can imagine because you started at the beginning with how many exactly?
Uh, we started developing Scum with 6 or 7 people,
Six.
but
Yeah.
that was before early access release. At the early access release, we had around 15 people, and we, grew up in parallel with the game as it was released in 2018.
Okay, and yeah, I would definitely feel that if you're getting a lot of new people in, there's a lot of struggles with it, and I mean, even the development team makes jokes about the hot fixes, but I don't feel that's regarding the new the new guys that are coming into the team, but I do feel that you guys added a lot to the game and I feel that's with most survival games, especially when the development team is listening to the community. You've been adding a lot of things that you never planned to add, basically, which does cause a lot of complications where you have to, if I'm right, code something into the engine that was supposed to work that way.
Yeah, we had and we still have the game design document with all the features that were listed there that are sort of planned to be in the game. But we didn't at that point we didn't expect that we would add so many community requests, and so that's one part of development that took this amount of time. The other part is the legacy of how we worked before. Obviously, when you have a really small team and you have high objectives that you want to meet, then eventually you end up by doing a lot of hard coding stuff and stuff that nobody likes on either side, just to have things to work. And then if you do some hard coding regarding stuff that are like really important that players will be using all the time, like inventory system or crafting system that then usually takes a lot of time to do it right the next time. And uh, this iteration of development regarding for example, the inventory rework, I believe inventory had already gone through, at least from the user interface perspective. It's currently it's a third iteration
Okay.
of user interface, and we're still like having the same code regarding how things with items works and everything. So uh, when people say that they still cannot stack stuff, and it's because we
The
didn't
stacking, yeah.
expect, yeah, we didn't expect these kind of things to be in the game. I know it sounds crazy, but when you're working on such a big project, and basically you cannot, just think of everything that players will be doing, and there are like certain stuff that were requested by players which were not possible. So we either postpone it for later or doing some more hard coding. And eventually after a couple of years of doing that, you had like a really big mess of stuff in the background that's going on. The good news is that we are working on it. So probably next year we will have a couple of really big major improvements regarding the inventory system, regarding the items and everything, which most of the people will not notice directly from the user interface perspective, but they will be noticing them from the performance perspective. And you have like a third part which relates to Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is a great tool. We wouldn't be able to make the game without Unreal Engine, but it also hasn't been built for massive multiplayer online games. We were lucky to have them working on Fortnite, which is still completely different game. It's session-based game, while we have persistent world, and we have to have inventory and players, like building stuff and gathering things, items, and stuff like that, which is something that Fortnite doesn't have. So we had to, in parallel with game development, with everything, we had to modify Unreal Engine heavily, and that's we came to 4.27 version of it. So that's where it stops. We will not go further. We'll just concentrate on making a game runs more smoothly and not having constant changes, switching versions of engines, because each time you make a switch, all of this is like a technical stuff. It's not my what I
Yeah,
do.
no, yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's always something breaks, because you have to merge two codes: our code for the game and Unreal Engine code that has been released. And Epic will not do changes, just for our sake. We will have to, make everything over. So when you take all these things in consideration, and when you take in consideration there are like maybe 20 programmers currently. I it's more like 15 or 20 programmers that should be doing gameplay related things, but they
Okay.
also have to deal with many other things. It's kind of normal that project is so long in the development, and I would say that no matter of this almost 4 years, uh, we still made huge progress, and we made a lot of updates and everything. And I believe that Scum will be a really special game one day when we reach 1.0 version.
I've no doubt. I've spoken to Kick directly, and he guaranteed me at 1.0, most of the bugs will be gone and most of the performance issues will be gone. And we had a discussion where he told me you will see that there's no early access game that performs the way you want it to perform, but all full versions perform well because then everything has been laid out and everyone can work on the various things, that improves performance and that gets rid of bugs instead of implementing new things and then, doing it piece by piece, which will take forever.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so guys,
Exactly.
Tomislav, agrees with that as well. So any of you that's worried about the performance or bugginess, whatever, I've spoken to people that I know personally as well that are programmers, and they all agree this game, should like 99% be exactly what you expect it to be at full release. But I mean, the amount of things that you've been adding to the game is phenomenal to me. And I know there was a big graphic shift at some point. I don't know exactly what update, but the game looked one way and then looked another way. And although the game looks very beautiful now, it's not like a night and day. And I know everyone wants the Unreal Engine 5, graphics that they're advertising, but unfortunately people don't think of the other side. They want the shiny things, but then only people with 4090s, and massive PCs can play the game, basically.
Yeah. So with Unreal Engine 5 and what they have presented, again, this is more look from technical side, then it's not my area
Yeah,
of
yeah.
expertise, but I can comment. Is they have presented some very interesting features. A lot of these features are already integrated in 4.27, and we are using them currently in the game.
Mm.
Some of them are exclusive for Unreal Engine 5. The problem with these like early versions of engines that got released is they're like early access, kind of stuff like our game basically, and it will take a lot of time before first game starts to appear on Unreal Engine 5. And you will probably see that most of these games that use this kind of cool features, sweet-looking graphics and stuff like that, will be most likely single-player games
Yeah, yeah.
because they're like much more complicated issues that happen with multiplayer games where performance and relies not just on graphics but also on server performance, on client performance, on many and the game performance. So things happening at the same time, and if we will probably try to start the game just for the curiosity on Unreal Engine 5, but I don't see it happening that we'll release it like that because the moment we do release it, many operating system will become obsolete. I'm still having Windows 7, for example, in on my PC, and I'm probably one of the last ones in the company. But I keep it just that I make sure that the game works on Windows 7. Um,
Which is which
and
is
of course,
understandable because a lot of people still use it.
yeah. So that would be unfair to the certain amount of people who bought the game when the game was working on Windows 7. Then you just switch the engine and you just cut them off. It wouldn't be acceptable. But again, this happens with advancement and the progress of technology. You cannot have both. Either you will decide to go and lose something to gain something, or you will stay where you are. 4.27 is actually pretty good build, except for a couple of graphical things. We can fully use many features that are currently advertised for Unreal Engine 5, including metahumans and stuff like that. So the game will look good. It will not be, like well, I've seen many demos of what Unreal Engine 5 can offer, and they're like impressive and everything. But I believe that there was a kite demo which was for Unreal Engine 4, which was also impressive. But when we started to analyze it on our PCs back then, it was like 6 years ago or something like that. It literally, didn't work in more than 15, 20 frames per second, and then you have to, build a game that is much bigger than the world they had.
Ex-
So most of these things that they present are staged. They are like staged for marketing purposes, and it will take a lot of time before uh, actually they release games that look that well and feel like natural with frames per second.
yeah,
Unreal Engine 5 is actually uh, more going in direction of creating movies and rendering than actually making big things for games. I'm not saying that they didn't make progress there. Also, they did, but they moved really strongly in the area of making TV shows and stuff like that. But rendering stuff, movies, because of the COVID and everything that happened, it was really hard to make TV shows, to hire actors, which they had to go on locations to make scenes and everything. But Unreal Engine has allowed people to actually do that from homes or from small studios or stuff like that, and that it still looks like really really realistic, which is a great thing.
no, definitely. I mean, the game already looks beautiful. Every time I play the game or I stream, then people always talk about the sunsets, or the sunrises, which really lets you value the graphics. But I understand what you're saying with the graphics. I mean, there's three main engines, I think. Except if you're talking about Rockstar and Bethesda, then they create their own like engines. But I think it's Unity, CryEngine, and Unreal, and none of them are really. I don't think an engine has ever been created around a survival game. And I've seen with Fallout what happens when they take something that works perfectly and they throw it into multiplayer. They've got a system. Their single player experience is what all their fans want, and then they go multiplayer. And you can see, even with a big company like that, you can see the difficulties. And then you play Red Dead Redemption 2, which looks
Yeah,
awesome, and then you go to online and you go, whoops, okay, so this happens everywhere. The desync
exactly.
and
Yeah,
everything. And then you understand it's not about money, it's about limitations in the engines. And even like Rockstar, I think, has got one, I don't know, maybe the best engine, when it comes to their own engine, but it's still got its limitations. And I understand what you mean with the promotions. And the first thing that pops up to me is the day before. It's very easy
yeah,
to have a confined space. It's almost like limiting the Scum map to 500 meters by 500 meters, and just rendering that set stage so that the server isn't reading, 300 puppets or 100 players
yeah,
or whatever the
yeah,
case would be. As soon as you put the players in there and the animations of the entire world, the game probably crashes, if it can ever look like that, which I don't believe. But yeah, thanks, Tommy.
yes.
I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying there, and I'm sure anyone that's played Fallout or Red Dead Redemption understands what they're saying there as well. But in any case, one thing that I saw, you put a lot of effort into the metabolism yourself, and you even experimented with it in real, for real. You put your
Yeah.
body through a lot of tests. Now, the biggest thing for me is this is basically the biggest point that I wanted to discuss with you because, like you say, you're not involved in the technical, but I know you're involved in the creative part of the game, and of course you definitely know a lot about the metabolism system in the beginning. I'm not saying you don't know everything about it now, but I mean, it was something that you really focused on, at the start to try and make it as realistic as possible. My main question, Tommy, to you is why did we change it? So when I say change, I mean I ate meat, and then when I ate meat again, it's my calories stacked. Dexterity was very difficult to manage. The metabolism was a PVE challenge, and now it only processes one circle at a time. it's almost impossible to get fat. And you sometimes you have 50 circles. I'm not saying 50, but I mean it takes very long for the circles, and it doesn't make natural sense that your body is only processing one at a time. So my biggest question is, because you put so much effort into it, what was the main motivation to change it? Was it the fact that a lot of people were struggling with dexterity, or I just want to know from you directly, what was the main reason? Because I thought, and a lot of my community feels that it worked, but most of my community is hardcore focused, if I have to put it that way. So I understand
Uh-huh.
that that's not your community, but I just like to understand. I don't. Where was the problem with the first iteration, where you stacked your foods and you could get fat, or it was you had to watch what you were eating, to what we have now?
Yeah. So what you said, that the first version was actually working, is true. So both versions are working, and we are talking regarding the metabolism. We are talking just about one thing. Metabolism is many things,
Yeah, yeah.
like many different stimulations happening to your body at the same time. So we are talking about digestion. Uh, the problem with initial metabolism and formulas that were behind it, they were not bad. They were like, well, they functioned for, but I believe 2 years or 3 years before we made a change. So they were working okay. They're working okay, but the way how they were implemented didn't allow us to make different kind of changes that we can do it right now. Thing is a little bit complicated to be explained easily, like verbally, because all these calculations, formulas, and everything, there are like many calculus in the background, and it's hard to grasp everything. But regarding the digestion and everything that you mentioned, uh, the problem with the previous one was that digesting things wasn't realistic in some occasions. So one thing I will just mention, one example,
Okay.
is that if you for example start eating something and then you just stop eating, then it didn't provide you with it sort of gave you more food than you would have to than what you expect to eat in this period. So that was one thing. Then the problem with how it was before is it was how the sort of body takes the energy from the stuff that you eat. So uh, in real life, the first thing that you use for energy are carbs.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. So if you don't have carbs, then the second thing that goes are proteins, and the third thing would be fat. That's the how it works. It takes a lot of time to program your own body to start, uh, like eating its fat reserves just like that, because it will rely mostly on carbs and protein breaking down its own muscle tissue before it's even touches fat. So this is how we are programmed as a human beings. Uh, and that's the main reason why we had to change how digestion works, because it didn't work like that. Uh, uh, one of the other things was uh, well, you can basically uh, eat many different things. You can put many different things in your stomach, and we didn't look at these things as a separate food. So, for example, if you put like meat or apple or everything, before we had like situation where everything is sort of looked summarized together. So you would just take all the protein, all the carbs, everything, and then it takes certain time to be digested. Right now, it's much more realistic regarding how it works. So each item is digested by its own. So it takes more time to digest apple, than basically digest meat or fat, and it gives more realism to everything. Regarding the fact that you cannot get fat, like really fat, or
Yeah, you'll
uh,
basically have to AFK your base for I don't know 6 months,
yeah,
and eat
yeah,
yourself
yeah.
to
So
death.
this isn't related directly to digestion. It also relates to what you actually do. Um, the problem with uh, gaining pounds and everything is that people we have allowed, because of the gameplay, side experience of good experience of gameplay, we have allowed people to carry a lot of stuff. We have allowed them to do things that wouldn't be possible in real life, to
I know, like super soldiers, many
endure.
super
Yeah,
soldiers.
yeah. So yeah, so they endure a lot of things that you would be able to do. Even if you're a trained person, you will not be able to run with 50 kilograms of weight, sprint or stuff like that. So this is something that we will change a little, regarding more or less animations, which will make feel these things a little bit more natural. But the problem is that we have realistic digestion or calorie input, but we also have a little bit unrealistic calorie output. So this means that if you allow players to do these kind of things, when we have slower metabolism digestion, then a natural thing will happen, that they will actually use all the calories much faster. And they will basically, if they don't receive calories from food, then they will start digesting their muscles or fat tissues. So unless we, of course, decide to make the game much more realistic, which is something that I believe, well, maybe PvE players will appreciate, but PvP players won't. And then you will probably have issues with players not be able to do like a lot of stuff that they already got used to. And I'm not sure if that's the right way to go at this point. Uh, what we can do, and I believe that it's also possible on all private servers, is that you can basically speed up the whole digestion and metabolism on each private server. So basically, if you speed these things up, digestion will be faster. You will get more calories, because everything that we're talking about is uh, input versus output.
Mm.
And if something is uh, out of the balance, then you will either notice that you will get fat really fast, or you will not be able to get fat. So this is something that players or private service owners will be able to are able to adjust to their likings.
What is the max that you can set the metabolism speed to? I know the default's 3.84. What is the max?
I don't know, to be sure. I
Oh,
don't know,
okay,
to be
okay,
sure.
okay. Yeah, like, and it's okay. It's okay. I feel this is impossible, but I felt the previous metabolism system was simple. Okay, I won't say it was very realistic, but I did feel it was simple. A person could understand, if I eat 700 calories plus 700 calories, then I can run for so long, because it burns about 1,000 calories when I sprint with weight on me. And and then I know when I have to pee, or I know that if I drink over 700 milliliters of water, I'm going to pee myself very soon. Now at the moment when you eat the mushroom, you're going to pee in like 5 minutes. So the only I was very, like I told you in the beginning, I was very passionate about the metabolism system, and I did let my stream know. It frustrated me most of the time, because okay, I don't think you'll ever get it as realistic, 100% realistic, because, like you say, we've got super soldiers, we've got unrealistic situations. Our characters can do unrealistic things. But I did feel from a gameplay perspective, it made sense while adding a digestion difficulty. So I can't just eat cake. I have to watch my diet, which which I think you felt quite good about when you did all the Twitter posts, is that people can't just eat whatever they want and still think it's going to go well with them. Where now the game is back to people just eating raw. Okay, that's the second point I wanted to discuss with you. But previously, people were just eating skewers, raw skewers, and they were getting fat because of it, because they didn't want to put in that PVE aspect, and then they were losing dexterity. So that was one possibility for me, that a lot of the player base was struggling with dexterity, because they just didn't want to cook food, or they just didn't want to look for, proper food, or whatever the case would be. But at its core, I thought it was simple to understand, and worked. If you want to make your character fat, you could. If you wanted to make your character thin, you could over time. And then of course, it took skill to manage. I just feel the skill is gone now. I don't know if you agree with me that the previous system took a lot more skill in running your own Tamagotchi, if you understand what I'm saying. Like,
Mhm.
it took more thinking than now, where it's just eat what you want and you'll be fine.
Yeah. The well, well, I agree and I disagree. So it's it's a bit more complicated than that. The
Do you? Sorry to interrupt you. Do you feel the infection systems and all the other things that you wanted to add to the metabolism was also a factor?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The problem was I have just opened the metabolism calculations currently. So the problem was that uh, we had issue that calculation of attributes with the previous version wasn't consistent back and forth.
Okay.
They were like it's hard to explain, like really small um losses during this, like let's say losing or gaining attributes levels which are related to your body constitution, and in Scum literally everything relates to you know uh, basically how you're built.
Yeah.
And the problem was also that uh, these are like, well, formulas are I would say they're like okay, but when we decided to start adding expanding metabolism with diseases and everything, then uh, I sort of decided to make another sort of run to try to make them more realistic, because there will be like many diseases, or states that will influence your strength, constitution, or dexterity, or all of them
Mm.
at some point. And that's also one of the reasons why we changed the whole thing. Now, uh, the current version. The current version allow us to have uh, things like much more powerful individuals, which is normal in real life. And the thing with metabolism is, which is human body simulation, that we have to cover people which are like full skinny, maybe 65 kilos in muscle, and not muscle, in whole body, like bones, muscles, fats, organs, everything. And you sort of should be it should be possible to for you as a player to modify this person to become like Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or really fat. It's a tremendous difference in constitution, in build of the characters. And the previous calculations didn't allow us to have a good ratio between muscles and fat as the current one. So the current one are much more precise. With current one, we have different type of muscle tissues, which I was talking in some my previous interviews that explain or allow us that we eventually add bodybuilding in the game, that you sort of uh, build certain type of muscle fibers instead, like for example adding running, which builds you completely different muscle fibers. uh, for majority of players this is not like important thing,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
for
yeah.
player yeah, but for the players like you who would like to get very heavily involved in the game, and I hope that eventually at one point people will see these kind of things and start think like that, and just stop shooting other players on sight, and see that there is much more in this game. I'm not saying that shooting is a great
Yeah,
part
you
of
know,
everything.
yeah, you just have to aim and click. There's not a lot of depth,
Yeah,
except
but
for your skill. Except for your skill level of
yeah,
aiming
yeah,
faster.
yeah. But uh, what Scum is all about is giving options to players so they can choose how to play the game, and eventually, although the learning curve is well, it sort of uh, uh, it's a little bit harder to play it right now than it how it was on early access release, because we added many new stuff in the game. But it's still like natural thing, because um, if you just think as you would like in real life, think about stuff as you would in real life, then the similar stuff will happen to you in the game. So it's not like uh, we are not sort of used to these kind of things, because the same things happen or relate to real life. So the new formulas actually allowed us to have strength range to 8, which is something that wasn't possible, and we allowed to have much better power to performance ratios between these different kind of muscle groups, which define you. Unfortunately, they define you three attributes: strength, constitution, dexterity. They all define all these attributes. And in previous formulas, when you had like a situation where you would build up the character, and then you I don't know, maybe on purpose or by some sort of illness, everything, you would release these kind of things that you have built up, then they wouldn't be distributed in the right way.
Okay.
So that was a major problem. A lot of people didn't see that, because most of the people see stuff regarding digestion, because it's obvious. You just eat stuff and then you see how it relates to calories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that digestion is balanced well right now. We will definitely take a look at it, and it will, it can be balanced even more. So the things that you're experiencing probably could be tweaked out much better, because this new system certainly allows to have like similar things that we had in our previous system, but previous system cannot mimic this one. So uh, right now what we are talking about is more or less like tweaking stuff to get to desired feeling that is sort of missing in your opinion in the game. So that's not the big issue. The biggest issue was to rework all the metabolism to be able to have stuff that previous one didn't have. And I would say that the majority of metabolism for majority of players feels the same.
Okay.
They because I know that some people expected to have, I don't know, a total game changer, regarding metabolism, where we announced that new metabolism is coming, and it was more like, you know Well, it's more like the same. Yeah, because user interface is more or less the same.
Mm.
We have added different kind of medical treatments and wounds and stuff like that, and that's also part of the metabolism that was changed, but actually added. Um, but most of them didn't worry about these kind of things. So I don't think that what you're experiencing is a huge issue. It definitely can be adjusted. It shouldn't be a big problem. One of the things that we have mentioned are still like s- uh, s- uh, nutritional data about items, about food and stuff like that. So, for example, uh, we have modified them a little because meat at uh, I'm not sure if it's in the game already. Maybe it is. Maybe it will be in the next update. But the problem with steaks, animal food, animal meat and stuff like that, they were like treated as a fully lean, like
Oh,
without almost any fat, which was wrong. And
okay.
this is yeah, this was modified. This is like a really light modification. That's not like you have to spend a lot of hours to do this the kind of things. When we were initially made these stakes and everything, then we had like different systems with maybe you remember that you were able to get as many steaks from animal as you could have possibly, which was great because you would kill, I don't know, horse, and then you will get I don't know, one ton of stuff or stuff like that. I'm not sure how much weight horse has. It's not 1 ton, but it's like a couple of hundreds
Yeah, I know the raw meat had
kilograms.
a lot
Yeah,
more fat than the cooked meat.
yeah. So that turned out to be a really big issue with performance because people would just chop it in a lot of small, like parts, and that's like still issue currently in the game with gathering, like piling up shit, which all the players do, and that's normal thing.
Yeah.
That's what players should do. It's the game is built for that, but the problem is on our side that we have to find a way to make it not that heavy on server or not that heavy on other clients, where when they get to the area where there is like a lot of items, which also causes their sync, because the sync is not just one thing. The sync is can be many different kind of things, but they all are experienced in the same way. So these kind of things had to change, and at that point we modified calories for not calories, well, basically calories, because all these ingredients are can be translated in calories, but we modified this meat that you get fat, separately, and then you have like lean meat, which wasn't okay, so we changed that back to more realistic values.
Okay. Uh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. The timer. Are you fine with time, Tommy, or do I have to start rushing?
No. I have time, so
Okay.
don't worry.
Yeah, then okay. The other big thing for me is when I run around a lot, Tommy. I'm an explorer, I'm a hardcore survivor, so I use my character a lot. And one thing that so if you keep the metabolism system like it is, or you allow people to get fat again, because I do feel the way you creating these sexy female characters, the thin and fat is still something that you guys always promote. It is still a big
Yes.
part about Scum. So I feel a player must have the ability to be fat if they want to be fat, and thin if they want to be thin. And I still feel there must be a difficulty in becoming Arnold Schwarzenegger, except having to play the game for 3 years to get to 8 strength if you're not AFKing. It must still be difficult, to get
Yeah.
to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I still feel so. If it stays the same, it's fine. I just feel that body morphing should be the player's choice, or either the player's choice or like it was previously, If you're not taking care of your character like you should in real life, things are going to go wrong. But I mean, I'm happy. I'm very happy with the answer you've given me. The only thing that I would love is I don't cook meat or catch fish anymore. That was a big part of my game because if I eat a grasshopper or larva or biltong or I don't know anything else, I get like 600 to 1,000 calories, which boosts my energy. But if I eat an entire bear or an entire tuna, I just get 350 calories, and I can't survive on that. And
Yeah,
it
that's
doesn't help me eating other stuff because it's gonna process the first thing first. So
mm,
maybe the other stuff adds, but you understand what I'm saying. If I eat the
yeah.
MRE, I've got 1,100 calories for quite a while. Where the MREs in the old system, that was my favorite system, then it only gave 300 calories. So I understand. It's difficult to balance everything. But I mean, cooking and fishing is a big part of the game. You even improve the fishing so that I can catch exactly what I want to catch now. With the list that you gave me. But like since meat and fish only gives you 300 calories, is that right?
No,
Like
no, no. No, that's actually not the problem with metabolism. That's problem with how, unfortunately, inventory stuff in inventory work. And of course cooking, which is still not done in the game properly. So the before the the whole cooking thing starts to work, and before uh, you actually would be able to catch 20 kilos tuna and then eat it and then had exactly the amount of nutrients. We will have to fix how inventory works. So this doesn't relate with metabolism at all. It relates how uh, mechanics, how the game perceives what you get by splitting stuff. Unfortunately,
oh, so
it
you're saying the game reads it differently when I'm chopping up the animal.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay, I
yes.
get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
that's the same. I might be. It's a little bit technical, so it's
Yeah,
not my area again.
yeah.
But I would say that it's pretty much simple. It's pretty much the same issue that we have with like why can't you stack uh, lockpicks? That's simply something that we haven't been thinking about before when we were working on the inventory, which was one of the still it's one of the oldest system, and it has to be reworked again, this time properly, and it has to be reworked in a way that it allows you to have thousands of items, in your property, in your chests, whichever place you like to keep them,
Mm.
and so it doesn't have any and it the, does- and, in the way that it doesn't have any issues regarding the performance, so that all these things can be streamed in nicely and don't have effect on other players or yourself. So this is a technical issue, and why it's put on hold uh, uh, along with cooking is that we have to fix the inventory properly. We have this is just one
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
things that we have to fix. We have lists of I believe 20 or 30 features that uh, are crucial, for a good gaming experience that people gave us through the years, which will be also fixed along in parallel with inventory rework.
Okay,
Uh,
I
yeah.
understand, but what would you say is a quick fix for the PVE players that really like to catch fish and hunt animals?
Yeah, the only thing that would be like a quick fix, and again, this quick fix is something that we would have to do.
Yeah.
It's not uh, something that you are able to do in the game. Is to allow you uh, to prepare the whole fish. Then
Oh,
you would be able
okay.
to
So you
get
don't have to chop it up or search the animal instead of chop him up.
or something like that. So the other problem is that making this all these kind of quick fixes are actually not necessarily quick.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
first,
yeah,
and it's always like thinking, and we did so many of them, and then after some time you have people that have to return to this kind of code, and there are like always questions. Why did we waste so much time
mm,
on this kind of thing instead to do it properly? I know the answer. I know
yeah.
the answer. For me, it's not an issue. I know the value of all these quick fixes is because people who are playing they basically expect to have something as soon as possible, which is let's say more enjoyable than the previous version. Then where can they see some progress that we're actually working on the game and stuff like that. Uh, for these kind of things like inventory rework, it will take, I would say, 6 to 10 months to do it properly. Not whole team, just maybe one or two programmers. But in this period of time, these programmers won't be able to do anything except for that because it's a major major thing. Now we have people in the company who understand the game and everything, but they're not nearly as proficient as you are, or some other like pro players with couple of thousands of game hours
Yeah, I
in
understand
the
there's
game.
frustrations in any group.
Yeah, so they look from their perspective.
Yeah.
Like why do I have to do it again? We are agreed that this hotfix is not good thing. It will mess up the code and everything, and unfortunately, this is sort of one of the gaps between the community and developers that I also try to bridge. I often made many posts on my Twitter where I try to educate, uh, like users,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
player base, how difficult or how easy is to implement some things in the game and stuff like that, and that's also very challenging. Or just explain that if something is coming out that it's not like the whole team is doing that thing. It still didn't settle in majority of people. So if we release a weapon, that doesn't mean that we had the programmer doing on this kind of weapon anything. We have many different parts of the team which are doing different kind of things. So level design is handling level, the whole island, the poise, the optimization of big city, stuff like that. While programmers are mainly doing new features, optimizations, network programming, physics, and stuff like that. So it's a thing that we are doing multiple things at the same time, and that's also one of the reason why it happens so often that we release something, then we have to release the quick fix the next day.
Okay.
Because if you have like 50 people of doing something at the same time on different kind of updates, because we have big updates that are in development for, let's say, 0.8 is well, it's been in development from 0.7. I believe it's like 6 months from now. It's been worked on, and in parallel you have guys who are working on small updates, which it's like you can imagine you have a bucket which you're filling with water, and somebody has like let's say a lot of water putting in, and the other guys are just using cups, and then you have to decide at one point to release certain amount of water out, and of course you cannot have like zero point 0.8 inside, but the game already has features from 0.8, but they're not exposed,
Yeah, yeah.
because we're working in parallel on many different things, and people still have issues to understand that it's not like a whole team is doing female characters right now. Actually, just like 5 people are dealing with that, and they're all from the content side, so they're not like programmers.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Of course, the
yeah,
modular cars is massive as well.
yeah. So that's one thing, and the other thing is when I get questions from my guys. Why should we listen to the community? Not all of them, but they're like people who don't understand this kind of thing. Why we shouldn't just follow the game design document, and why we have to, alter development so much. And I'm trying to explain that we are not the only one in this whole project, and that we wouldn't be able to produce this kind of game without the community. And obviously, the whole point is that we are doing something together. So if we are doing something together, then hopefully you will listen to what I'm saying. But it's kind of normal that then I will listen also, to what you're trying to say and what you would like to see in the game, and how you would like to, to make this game better, which is, the whole point.
Yeah, that is
So
the whole point. Yeah.
yeah, so the whole game development is actually, and I like to, describe it as a pushing a ball.
Mm.
From the one side, we are pushing the ball. From the other side, community is pushing the ball. So let's say that we are going in certain direction, which is great, because it's well, it's pretty much stressful to have a live project out there, but it's experience that is something that I didn't experience so far in my career, and it's also like very stressful, but also very thrilling to have like constant communication with the community, and to experiencing how uh, thrilled they are with the game, and how the game has changed their lives, which is something that I would definitely like for more of our developers, our team members to hear, because some of the stories that I heard were really great, and when you're in development and you don't think about these things obviously, but it's actually very inspiring when you hear sort of war stories from players and what they did in the game, and the people they met, they have met in the game, or had a relationship with them, or how the game has influenced their lives. It's one opportunity in the lifetime, so it's not like any other game that I made so far.
Exactly. That's why I fell in love with survival games. Is I actually gave my PC away at some point because I got tired of FPS games and all the standard things that were out there, and then the survival genre is completely different because of the community. You don't have a bunch of people just killing each other, not really talking to each other. You've got role-playing servers, you've got PVE servers, you've got PvP servers. So the community and the immersion, and the I won't. I won't use Rust as an example because I'll never play Rust again. That's not really a community that I want to get involved with. But the community has a large effect. Like, even though Rust community I see as toxic, there's still a bunch of them. You understand? It's still a
Yes,
massive community. It might not be our community, but we still have to respect that it is a big community. So
yes,
the
yes,
developers
absolutely.
definitely listen to something that got the game there. I don't know how it got there, but it got there. There's a great game. I just don't like the players, but
Yeah, of course.
somebody listened to them, so it definitely works. So yeah, I mean, the community is a very, very important part. And just to finish my metabolism, I think it's safe to say, guys, I'm not gonna talk about meat and fish again, until that's done. I thought they could just change the calories, which clearly is not the case because I don't know anything about programming, and I do find it insulting if anyone. And again, if you're gonna comment anything down below, make sure it's positive, because unless you've got constructive criticism, because unless you've made a game like Scum, I don't know, why you can criticize someone's character or game or whatever the case may be, because you've got no idea, what it takes to make a game like this. Just like most YouTubers or streamers will know, everyone in their circle will normally tell them you're just playing games. Okay, but if we're just
Yeah,
playing games, why doesn't everyone do it? Why doesn't
yeah,
everyone
exactly.
have a big community? There's a lot more to it, especially programming, guys. I mean, I'm talking about content creation. Yeah, I just click a one button and then I talk. They click a lot of buttons. Okay, that gives me a headache because I've tried programming. And after the dot matrix printer ran out of paper, my teacher told me this is not for me. I believed her. But in any case, okay, so we're not gonna talk about the meat or fish again. Tommy has spoken about that, and we're gonna wait on that. Tommy, regarding the community, do you guys listen to the community as a whole, or is there a specific focus group that you listen to?
We listen to. For at least I can say for how it works for me. So I'm the most active. I'm the most active on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm not that active right now because I have a lot of things to do. So it's sometimes it happens like that. So I don't have much time to make posts and everything. Uh, but other than that, I read everything. So whether you like post it on Steam, whether you like post it on Facebook groups or on Twitter or Discord, it eventually comes to me, and I read. Well, I would say like most of the things that Discord is pretty much active, so I kind of read the most important stuff that are gathered by our community managers. But the thing is that all these kind of things come to us at one way or the other way. Now I answer all messages on that I receive either on Facebook or Twitter. Although I consider Facebook more as my private page. I
Yeah.
see that people are following me. They're also. I'm not sure if that's smart because I'm a funny person.
Yeah.
But Twitter is also, I consider it to be my Twitter. It's not like company's Twitter. So although I post a lot of things from game development and the game itself, it's not like it's under control of the company, or it's basically they're my opinions. On Twitter you can actually communicate with me and not the company itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's like what I do in general. Now there are like people who play the game, which are obviously more exposed, like you, like Raykit, like other
Mm,
other streamers. I value their opinions highly. Now, some people get offended because sometimes, they feel like you have listened to this kind of streamer and you have implemented this kind of thing in the game, but you didn't listen to me. Well, uh, I listen everybody. It's if somebody has a good idea, it really doesn't matter to me. I already pushed many stuff, that got from me from the people that I heard from the first time, first message, and they have been implemented the game. Now that just explained that they're not like priorities here when features are in question now, but still, I believe that uh, streamers, people who actually dedicate their decent amount of their time to play the game, to stream about the game, to talk about the game, are like spokesmen of our community. Because they have a lot of people, who are following them, who are sort of communicating to them directly about the game, whether it's like good or bad.
mm,
So in certain way, all these streamers actually uh, uh, will transfer information to the team or to me personally, and they are not like giving just their own opinions, which is important for people to understand.
Yeah, yeah.
All of you actually are, have you're like messengers of your own community, so there are like a lot of voices behind you talking, and that's why if I get something for a certain streamer, that's why I listen a little bit more carefully, because although most of these things that we hear are the same,
Yeah, yeah.
if we are talking about direction, feature, stuff like that, you would be amazed. But a lot of people, including us, are on the same track. But when it comes from a streamer, then obviously that person represents certain amount of people, and we have to respect that.
Yeah,
That's normal.
no, no, no. I understand what you're saying. I was just thinking about if you. I'm very happy with the trench foot and the infections and everything. I'm very happy where it is, but sometimes you guys bring it out a bit too rough. It's just balancing normal stuff. But when it comes to crunching PVE challenges, if you understand what I'm saying, when it comes to nerves, do you feel the majority of your player base is PvP focused or PvE focused? Like, if you have, like, I'm a Libra, so there's weights. Which
Yeah,
weight
yeah,
do you think, which community has more weight according to you? Because if the PvP community is larger, then you have to listen to them, just like with Rust. You understand
yeah,
that you have to
yeah.
listen to the majority of the community. So, do you feel the PvP players have a bigger weight when it comes to nerves?
I would say they're like let's say almost equal.
Almost equal, okay.
Yeah, almost equal because I don't have stats for the game. Leva, my colleague, has been gathering these kind of stats, and from the statistics that I saw a couple of months ago, it's I believe it's like almost 20 to 30% of players just are playing just single player, which is
That's
like
great.
totally
That's
yeah,
great. Yeah.
it is great, but it's crazy because we still didn't touch single player properly. So single player is just a sandbox, for players who would like to see how things work without getting bothered by other players.
Exactly.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and then usually they switch to PvE, servers. So PvE community is great, and we had a lot of things that have been actually most of the things that have been added in the game the last year was PvE oriented.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I'm specifically gonna get a dedicated server from Ping Perfect.
yeah,
I think it's like £250 a month or something. Like, just like the best system, so that I can have the PVE server that people come from single player. Then they can go to the PvP server if they want to, or they can come and die with me every day on a hardcore server.
yeah,
Just so
yeah,
that that you're covering all the bases. What
yeah.
people are looking for. Um,
Yeah, and then if we are going to talk about PvP, there is always like I would say minority of I would say again around 20% of people who are strictly PvP, just fast gameplay, just high loot, and I wouldn't say pointless, but that's also
we need our Negans,
it,
right? Without
yeah, yeah,
Negan, The Walking Dead doesn't exist.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is that most of the guys that are playing the game are PvE/PvP players.
Yes, yes, agreed.
They're sort of enjoying both things, and this is the audience that we listen the most. So they will enjoy PvE elements. They will enjoy armed NPCs. They will enjoy missions from traders and everything, but they will also be enjoying killing other players. Not maybe on site, maybe they will,
Hmm.
but they like to have a higher meaning to what they do. So these guys are actually the right fit for the game. I'm not saying that strictly PvP or making a completely battle royale from Scum wouldn't attract more PvP players because we have really good shooting mechanics.
Mm.
Uh, and I'm not saying that single player with eventually campaign coming wouldn't attract more players, but we're not focused on these two like extreme groups. Uh, so currently we are going in the middle ground with PvE/PvP players who sort of enjoy the game as it is, like well, like both of these worlds.
Okay, and the fact that you touched on single player is very interesting because that's my next question. A lot of people, I need to copy my settings, because I'm not saying people are. I'm not saying anything about people. I'm just saying if people didn't need help, I wouldn't. I wouldn't matter. You understand? If
Yeah.
so, there's a lot of people who aren't DIY focused, if I have to put it that way. So I have to. They want my settings from me, or they want to know how to change settings, but all the settings, aren't always clear cut to them. So, or when do you feel you will put more time into single player, like actually giving them difficulty settings, like easy, medium, hardcore, and insane, with different single player settings that you guys have put into the game, just to give them a different experience instead of them playing around with it and not really getting to anything that they're very happy with.
Yeah, I'm afraid that this will have to wait a little bit. Single player is there's no point of us to for us to
So
push
yeah, that
single
will
single
take quite
single
some
player
time. That's what
specifically.
you're
Yeah,
telling me. It will take time.
yeah. The thing when you're making game which has single player and multiplayer at the same time, you won't you if you start doing it in a way that you first build a single player and then switch to multiplayer, you made a huge mistake. That's something that you mentioned earlier with Fallout and stuff like that. That's not how things are done, because assuming that something will work in multiplayer simply because it works in single player is completely wrong. There are like so many things that can go wrong with stuff that actually work in single player really well, but they don't work in multiplayer. One of the examples that we had is that the first version of motorcycles that we spent a lot of it was done by one programmer, but he spent a lot of time to perfecting it, and I made videos about it, and it worked great. You were able to make wheelies, to jump. You had
Yeah, I
like the
remember.
same,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the same experience as GTA.
Mm,
The same experience. Great stuff. It didn't work in multiplayer at all.
yeah.
So unfortunately, when we found out, we had to do a quick fix because we promised motorcycles, and we're not like happy with it currently. But modular vehicles are coming with new physics also, so this will be eventually changed to what we wanted to have at first place. But the problem is then if you're making multiplayer games, then you have to do multiplayer first, then single player later, unless you're making games like, for example, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, where you have like all these campaign and then you just produce deathmatch levels. That's completely different. But when you have a game that functions in the same way, and that's the idea of how we'll try to do it, so that basically you can finish the game in multiplayer also. Well, then you have to just I wouldn't say just, but you don't have so much work just to transfer it to single player, and until we make the game uh, let's say fully playable in multiplayer, then we wouldn't probably do much about single player and campaign as it is. So first, all the features have to be in the game, and then we will deal with campaign missions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I understand that will take a lot of time. Like, I'm very interested in the trader bosses. I don't know if the trader bosses are still planned. But
Yes, yes,
a
100%.
different kind of boss in every trader will be cool, and then they give you missions. I know that's far in the future because that takes AI. which is very, very difficult. I was just thinking, like, when you start single player, I can edit my server INI file. And what I was thinking is that you guys could maybe just add different folders, you know,
Yeah,
so
that's
so that
possible. That's
yeah, so that the
possible. Yeah.
game goes and searches for the easy folder or the medium folder or the hard or the insane folder, so that people don't have to scratch with it themselves. I thought that that could be.
Yeah, that would be a nice addition. So if you have this kind of settings already set, maybe it would be best that you contact some of our QA guys, Q&A guys,
Okay.
and send them to them, and then we will make feature request, and we will see how it is difficult to add it to the game. But from what I can understand, it shouldn't be that difficult. So these kind of things would be uh, uh, are actually pretty good ideas that could be implemented really easily,
Yeah.
and I would definitely love to hear, or to see more of them. Maybe per monthly basis, that you may make a list of stuff that your community would like to have in the game, and then just send it to me or Q&A guys, and we will see what can be done quickly and what not. And but if things are okay, they would all get to the feature list. So you shouldn't wait for opportunities to talk to me to say something about it, because I don't know when the next opportunity will will come.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. No,
yeah.
definitely. That's why I just wanted to That's why I just wanted to get through all the points, because I thought. I mean, I know a little bit about programming. So the game just goes and looks for the server INI file, and takes those if this
Yeah.
then that settings, and you can just put them in 4 different folders, and then the guy who made the UI surely knows. He's already made the UI. He's already made the starting screen. So just adding those 4 tabs, that goes to the different folders shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I mentioned it, because I do know that a lot of my community starts with single player because they don't like getting killed, they don't like their cars being stolen, and they don't like getting raided. And new players are starting at like nursery school, where we are at university. You understand?
Yeah.
They get
Yeah.
overwhelmed with what we can do and they can't do, basically. And then there's, of course, the guys that use exploits as well. So that's like graduating university or whatever you call it. Um, and that's okay. That goes to my next point. When it comes to admins, is there any main reason? I remember Beta came onto my server and I got a heart attack because he was like Neo and I don't know. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I
I,
had
I
no.
heard.
I
I
had
heard
no
about
power
that.
on my own server. I I was screaming that I was scared that he was going to ban me from my server. So I was just wondering, what is the main reason for not giving admins the same power as devs have on a server?
Uh, because of cheaters. Because of cheaters. Because we have like really sensitive stuff which give you unlimited amount of ammunition, which give you immortality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And right now, the only way how we can stop, hackers, cheaters,
Okay, because they can
exploiters.
become an admin by cheating.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
that you don't
Basically,
trust the admins. The cheaters are
yeah. The
becoming
yeah
admins
the
on your
yeah the
server.
problem yeah the problem was, it's not the problem with admins. It's problem with unique Steam IDs. So if we have stuff that are that can be easily exploited, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I talked about that earlier. Unreal Engine is an open platform. Yeah,
Open
so
source.
that means that, yeah, so that means that it's available to everybody, and that means also hackers from China or Russia, or whichever place in the world. They
Mm.
already have like basic like programs that you can buy even before, which give you certain stuff, even before the game gets released. Simply because it's done on Unreal Engine, and we felt that really hard when we when we realized what they're doing, and we're constantly monitoring their forums and monitoring their hacks and everything, and all stuff that gets reported to us. And we're analyzing things that they're doing. They're like always one step in front of us.
Okay.
We if we had more time to dedicate for this game protection, instead of doing features, then we'll probably be able to deal with that much faster. But the problem is when you have this kind of things that can influence or ruin somebody's gameplay really easily, then you simply cannot give this kind of things to admins because we cannot control who will buy server. We cannot get to their Steam IDs. Currently, all this stuff is can be used only by Steam IDs that we have defined, and
Okay.
basically that's us developers. So that's the reason. It's for your own good. You know?
Yeah, yeah, for the admin's own good, for the server owner's
Yeah.
own good, basically. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's push the petrol pedal here quickly. EMP grenades that just a few ideas that I'm shooting out here. EMP grenades that disables makes for 30 seconds because a lot of players are still struggling with bushes and stealth. Possibility.
They're on the list.
Okay. More brawling weapons like Wolverine claws or something that motivates people to actually use the brawling skill.
Sure, why not? But brawling is should be done properly. It's sort of a long story because the first version of brawling or unarmed combat that we had was great. We had so kind of nice results and everything, and it worked well even in first person. It was very realistic, and then we found out that it works well only with two characters. The moment the third person appeared, it's it it was really bad.
Okay.
So we had to do it like it is right now. We're not happy with it, and we already had like a couple of team members wanting to explore unarmed combat again, but unfortunately it wasn't been put big priority on it simply because there are like still many other things that are are planned but not in the game currently, and at least we have some kind of brawling right now. So it's I'm not saying it will stay like it is. It has to be done properly, but I'm not sure if adding we can add this kind of weapons, but I'm not sure that it will change a lot, how people feel about brawling. So
Yeah, I think the damage output is very very low on it, and we have got the knuckle dusters, which you still
yeah,
find a lot in game. I was just thinking like items that has a bigger damage output, where people would actually want to play like a character, like a stealth character like that, like a ninja with like Wolverine claws on him, or he crafts the Wolverine claws, or he uses the bear claws, whatever the case would be, just so he has more options than either bare fist or knuckle duster, because all the other things have a lot of variants to them. Rifles, pistols. You've got a
yeah,
lot of options. Where with brawling, it's just that or one thing that you can add. Add to your fist, and maybe I don't know both hands. I know at the moment it's just with my haymakers that I can use the knuckle duster. Maybe
yeah.
make it so that you can add on both hands. But okay, that's just a small idea. Molotovs, um, ever?
Yeah, they're on the list. They're on the list. We will see when
Okay,
they will be in the game, but yeah, they are on the list. So
I know you guys are. I don't know. I know you guys have got electricity on the map at the moment. I don't know exactly what your plans are with it, but maybe an improvised freezer where you can collect snowballs to put in the
uh,
plastic container that you crafted, and then keep food fresher for longer.
yeah, that's also on the list.
Okay,
So
and then my favorite, me personally, I don't like that people can raid a base with silent suppressed M82s or with crossbows. I feel it breaks the immersion for me. Maybe a wooden wall, but not a concrete wall. So you've already added grenade launchers.
yeah.
How Yeah, I don't even know if I have to ask if it's coming. I want rocket launchers. I think it adds a lot to counter rating, and it changes a solo player from having to stand there and place the C4, and being completely exposed. The lockpicker is already exposed, and the C4 guy is already exposed. So I do feel that it will
Yeah.
add a lot more adrenaline, action packed raids if we have rocket launchers.
Yeah, RPGs are on the list. We already have animations for them. Um, the problem with weapons and everything is that we have the same team is doing weapons and vehicles.
Oh, okay, okay,
That's
okay.
that's what we call a hard surface modeling. So they're currently busy with modular vehicles, and they're trying to push as many weapons as they can in this process. But yes, RPGs are on the list. They will be in the game. Also, modular base building will change how you will be able to get through different materials.
Okay. Almost like
The only
the
reason,
various armor sets that you guys were talking
yes, yeah.
about.
So
Yeah.
yeah, for example, axe would be useful against the wood, and twigs.
And a
But
Molotov would
it,
be useful against wood only as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea to make bit more logical
Yeah.
or realistic approach to bases, building bases and defensive strategies. But we didn't want to mess with the current system simply because the next update will bring modular base building, which will have this kind of thing. So there's no point of wasting time to tweak out the M82s or stuff like that. Make special kind of things that you wouldn't be able to go through the walls simply because we know that in the next iteration there will be like hopefully much better system.
Okay, and then just a little point on Danny Trejo. Tommy, from me personally, and I think from any of your very, very passionate fans, like, I don't know, this game is a bit too cheap, in my opinion, but I understand from your point of view. I'm not a marketing expert. So, but I mean, for what I've gotten out of the game, I feel almost guilty, playing the game because I'm like, I've never made such a good investment in my life, in my life before. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm sure there's thousands of people that will always buy DLC, not because they're worrying about what it is. It's just a way to support you guys. So what I was thinking, instead of, I've got no problem with the Danny Trejo. I'll just never play as him because I'm a purist. But I was thinking, like, is there a way to just add lookalike characters? We don't have to use their voices necessarily, but I'm like a Hunger Games woman. It doesn't have to be that actress, but it can be a woman character that starts with a bow, although I know the community will poop themselves. But I mean, different models that you don't have to share the profits with and that you can bring out, I don't know, every 3 months. You know,
Now,
do you guys want to stick to movie stars, or is it a
yeah,
possibility that we can just have more models? Because the Danny Trejo model looks great, and I was like, bro, I'd pay for a model that's close to me. You know, it doesn't
yeah,
have to be me, but everyone that looks more or less like me, which there are thousands of, would like Brad Pitt, that kind of lookalike guy, from Fury. With
yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah. The
saying.
problem,
Is what are you guys thinking
yeah.
about that?
Well, the whole idea with Danny Trejo was experiment.
Yeah.
We are satisfied with the results. Really, uh, it didn't took so much time to make it. It took a lot of time to coordinate with Danny Trejo's
Yes.
team and
Yes. Yeah.
to get approval for stuff like that. So it's a bit complicated process, at least for the first one. Um, Regarding lookalikes, I would rather avoid these kind of things because it came to everything came to the point where uh, you cannot simply if you go too close to someone's looks
Yeah.
so that people actually recognize where that's from, then you have possible lawsuit. You know, which isn't a good thing. So we will probably go further with celebrities. We have two really I will not say names, but they're like really cool characters from the movies
Okay.
who we are negotiating right now. Unfortunately, both men. I'm saying unfortunately because we were really trying to find a strong female character
Yeah.
for the next one, but not all our suggestion were accepted because obviously it's not just on us to
Yeah, I
pick
think financial
people.
gain is a big part of it.
Yeah, financial gain, but also people might see the game and see what's the game all about and decline. So
Yeah, yeah, they haven't really played the game. They just see Scum and then
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
they're like personal opinion because
yeah.
obviously we're using their like appearance, so that it may inflict their I don't know reputation,
Yeah, it
something
could
like that.
affect
So
their fans or whatever the case may be.
yeah, so we will see. The only problem I see with that is that uh, we are still too small team to produce a lot of that content, and hopefully we'll find some other solution for it. But I would definitely love to see far more DLCs of this kind, but also DLCs of I don't know unique heads.
Yeah, yeah,
For
yeah.
example,
Like just changing, just giving us 10 choices with each and every one having different hairstyles because I feel the
yes,
detail that went into Danny Trejo opens up just those base characters that we have at the start of the game so that we don't all look like clones or not,
yeah,
we don't look close to clones.
yeah. So I think that more of these things will come in future. Especially because everything went really well with Danny, and we are satisfied, and they are satisfied. So also Danny has a lot of friends, obviously in
Movie
movies.
industry, yeah.
So yeah, so it's kind of cool when he's satisfied with something. Then it's much easier to get
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
They
other
can use him
celebrities
as a
too.
reference as how the situation
Yeah,
went, how the whole
absolutely.
process went.
Yeah, and he didn't know anything about the game.
Yep.
Even after almost after the release, we had to explain what this game about and everything. But he was really professional. He was, like really cool guy,
Yeah, I know he's
down
gone
to
through a
earth,
lot. Yeah, he's
everything.
gone a lot. He's gone through a lot in his life, and he is very down to earth.
Yeah, so
Um,
it was really easy to work with him, really easy.
yeah, you can maybe try the girl from Hunger Games. She's looks, she says she's bad shit crazy. So let's put it to the test.
Yeah, I think that she was on our list, but it's our agents that are looking for next one. Especially if the person is really famous, that it's not that easy to get to
Yeah,
that
yeah,
person also.
she's
So,
very high up at the moment, so
yeah,
that can
so
be challenging.
so these people who are pretty busy and they don't they're probably looking for the next big title, big movie, than actually wanting to get in game business or stuff like that. So but we will see. It's still like open thing, and more things will be coming. But also we will start adding customizable generic. I wouldn't say generic because of everybody will have them, but more generic. There will not be celebrities like heads or hairstyles or stuff like that.
Yeah,
For
what
for
we experience when we build our characters, we'll have a lot more variety to choose from.
yes, exactly. Uh, Simply because this is customization. This is these are things that basically come out at the end. and simply because we have much more important stuff to be added to the game, priorities will be always on optimization of content and stuff like that, and not at these DLCs and like visual stuff, customizable stuff for players.
Uh,
Until we sort of make the game more complete.
Okay. Final 2 points. Are we getting the Volkswagen modular cars and the station wagons, or did you replace the station wagons with the Volkswagen cars?
Station wagons, you mean
The modular
what?
the modular cars. You first show the Volkswagen modular cars, and then you show the station wagon. Which can be
Yeah, it's not a station wagon. It's Lada
Lada.
Niva
Okay,
probably.
okay.
Yeah. You're getting both of them.
Both of them. Okay, great. That was just one for my son there because he's just waiting for them. Okay, and then the other thing is, will we ever get a muscle car for the experienced guys who like drifting? Will we ever get a muscle car to drift a little bit
Uh,
more?
maybe we will see.
Okay, and then my last point is camouflage. I did a test the other day, and
Doesn't work.
the awareness. No, it works. It works.
It works.
It works.
I don't know.
Yeah, the awareness doesn't counter it. So whether I've got advanced awareness or no awareness, the guy still disappears at 200 meters, and I can only see him at 50 meters. So the awareness doesn't counter it. Is it possible? I know there's a lot of people that don't like the camouflage skill, but is it possible to make it so that if I've got advanced awareness and he's got advanced camouflage, I'm countering it?
Yeah, it's possible. That's the whole idea behind everything, how it should work, and that's why I said it doesn't work. So
You were
it doesn't.
serious?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
If you have like issues like you have,
Yeah.
then basically it doesn't work. So I have a phone call. Somebody's calling. Can you give me a minute, please?
No problem. No
Just a
problem.
second. I'm sorry because it's interview, but I'm just maybe it's important.
No problem. No problem. Okay, guys. So, thank you for hanging in so long. He actually just, I actually just said it will take 20 or 30 minutes, but it's difficult to control the interview because he has a lot of information. But yeah, we're gonna end it now with just a few notes that I want to give him, and then I just like to know which who covers the map and different stuff like that. So it will only take about 2 or 3 minutes extra. But I want to thank each and every one of you for sitting, watching this for an hour and 45 minutes. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, click the like button. If you're not subscribed yet, do so. And yeah, if you've got anything that you'd like me to ask other developers, because I'm going to try and get interviews with other developers. So we're going to find out who works with the map, the loot, and the puppets. And if you've got any questions that I think will be relevant to them, then just leave it down in the comments as well. And yeah, thanks as always. Glad I don't have to cook the meat, guys. Like you can see here, this is all I had. I just wanted to cook the fish and cook the meat, ask him to eat it, and then I wanted to tell him like, "What's up, Doc?" Because you guys know I'm crazy about I'm crazy about the metabolism. So we've got that sorted. So far, we just need to be vegetarians up until that point. Not a big problem. At least I know now having a 30-minute interview is almost impossible. unless we script it.
Hello.
Yo, Tommy. Okay.
Oh, I'm back like 5 minutes ago, but my microphone stopped to work. Okay, but it's working now. I had to restart it. Okay, so I'm back. I'm
Okay.
sorry about this call. It wasn't important, unfortunately. So, but I'm
No,
the only one in the office right now, so
no problem,
I had
Tommy.
to pick
This has
it up.
already been an hour and 40 minutes. You know, I said 20 to 30 minutes. But forgive me, it's my first interview. I've got no experience how long these things go. But in any case, just a few notes. You can either make the notes, or you can just watch the video back for these notes.
Okay.
First point is the meat and fish, which we don't need to talk about. Second
Mm-hmm.
point is awareness. We don't need to talk about that. Bushes make no sound. Maybe you can just let your team know.
Yeah, that was removed because of the optimization.
Okay.
We will try to bring it back.
Okay.
So I'm really sorry about that. But the guys had to remove it because it was pretty much heavy on the server right now. There are like plenty of bushes and people like to sneak, and it didn't relate well with regarding the optimization. So we will try to find a solution for that.
Okay. And then the other thing, I play on servers with. I mean, there's a lot of custom servers out there. I don't know, but no, I probably do know. I think there's a lot more players on private servers than official servers. Would you agree?
Yeah.
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 So I've got a ton of puppets on my servers. And the thing is, on an official server, I don't mind if a puppet spawns on top of me on an official server because it doesn't really pose a threat to me. But on my servers, the puppets are basically like zombies. They can one shot you and stuff like that. And I've got different challenges running on my servers. Like there are actually people that want to complete the challenges with one life. And then I don't know, maybe they throw their PC out of the window, when a puppet falls on top of them. What I was wondering, is it possible? Just a note. I'm not saying this related to you. Just maybe a note that you can make for your team. Is it possible that puppets can work like loot works? It won't spawn unless you're 50 meters away from that spawn point. Maybe you can ask them if puppets can work that way. Because puppets, I don't care about them glitching through stuff and stuff like that. But the timers, the timers seem buggy because you can set, how long it takes before they respawn. So I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months back or 5 months back, I saw that the puppets didn't make sense to me. Like I had total control over them on my servers, but I don't have total control over them anymore because they don't always spawn after 45
Mm.
minutes like they're supposed to spawn, and they spawn on top of people. So I was just thinking maybe to keep it immersive. I don't know if it's difficult, but I know there's a code that says the loot won't spawn unless you're 50 meters away. Maybe they can make it that a puppet can't spawn unless you're 20 meters away or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh, if it worked before, maybe it would be best that you talk with somebody from Q&A and try to explain what is different.
Yeah, we're gonna
Because
get the names from you as well. Yeah.
because we didn't change much, at least, well, how I was informed
Okay.
for about this feature. But in general, one of the things that is on the list and it will be handled along with AI are rework of spawning and everything. So yes, it will be changed, not like that, like you said, but hopefully a little bit better. What we will try to do is to make a system that will be smarter than how it works currently. That would be aware of how many players are somewhere, on the map,
Mm.
and their gear and everything, and then depending on sort of difficulty, they will spawn more or less enemies, AI enemies, NPCs, puppets, whatever in the vicinity. So we already have, let's say, a document for it. It waits for the free programmer, but the idea is that to improve all the spawning system, that because uh, each and every puppet that you have is almost heavy as one player.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I've heard that.
Yeah, so it's not the same because player has inventory, has layers, has tons of animations, has like stuff, weapons, everything that it carries. But regarding some stuff, they're like network heavy as having a player. So the whole system, if we want to have the game that is full of NPCs, not necessarily full like having hordes of them, which probably wouldn't be possible in a way that you have like hundreds of them running towards you.
Mm.
But there are like ways to have very similar feeling of being overrun by endless, like enemies. Uh, so the point was not to have like them spawned in the areas which are not important, and the areas which are not important, obviously areas where there are no players. Currently, we have situation that there are like plenty of animals roaming on the island, and you get reports that there are like no animals at all because they're like really hard to find,
Yeah.
unless of course they're like on the either like open plains and you can shoot them without issues, but there's not like a true hunting in the game done properly, which is also something that we will change. But the thing is that all these things cost of server performance, so they have to be done properly in a way that if something is spawned, then players should have some influence on the gameplay. It shouldn't be like something is spawned and you're not aware of it and you don't see it, but it costs performance-wise simply because it's running on the server and the server has to take care of it. So for that, we need much better spawning system, which will cover the same issue that you have.
Yeah, because most of my community complains. Okay, I'm the only one that complains when I log in and log out, my puppets are gone. Because other people love it, we don't. I can go into an area, log in, log out. I don't have any puppets anymore, so it's fine. For me, I want the challenge. But the other thing is, most of my community complains about bunkers. That because it's a small confined space, the puppets spawn right on top of them, like
Yes,
behind them
yes.
and hit them in the back, and that frustrates them a bit. So that's the only point that I wanted to lift. And then in the past, I know there's a lot of the map has opened up, but I feel towns had a lot more reason for me to go to them. Like for now, if I want a backpack, I go to the big city. Like I know where to find the stuff. But I mean, in towns, even with vanilla loot, people struggle to find a backpack. I'm not specifically talking about a hiking backpack. I'm talking
Mhm.
about a backpack overall. Where previously almost every cupboard, had some kind of backpack in it. So I was just wondering if you can maybe I don't know who's responsible for the spawn percentages, but I feel for new players that don't want to run into the big city on any server basically, because either it's a PvP server and you're going to get killed there, or people are wire cutting the suicide puppets that respawn every 5 minutes. So for large clans, there's actually a reason to stay in the big city because those
Yeah.
puppets are respawning every 5 minutes. So it does really help in telling a new player, just go get a hiking backpack in the big city, because you're going to come back and say, I've died 10 times. So tell me again, how do I get a hiking backpack? So I was just thinking maybe they can increase the backpacks in towns, because towns are your beginning, your safe zones, basically.
Yeah.
You can't really tell players to go to points of interest when they start. That's not going to be good for them. So I was thinking about just increasing maybe the backpacks to make towns a little bit more valuable for new players, and then increase the vehicle repair kits, because of course they've been nerfed, but maybe just increase their spawn percentage a little bit, because it doesn't feel like their spawn percentages were changed. I know there was in the patch notes. We just don't feel.
Yep.
We
So
don't feel
yeah, I
it.
understand.
No.
Yeah, the problem with spawning, and this is not just related to backpacks and other stuff is that you have probably noticed that there are like a certain amount of items that you get more than others.
Yeah.
Like leather jackets, for example. Before that, they were like uh, how do you call these fanny bags
Yeah. Yeah.
that they were all around. So the we have mysterious issue with our spawning system that somehow it has a mind on its own, and sometimes we actually uh, reduce the number of specific items and they spawn more. So this is not just related with the code that we made, but it's also related with how Unreal Engine randomize all things that happen in the background, because you have to need to have some sort of certain amount of randomization
Mm.
between like types of items. Uh,
Now, I remember when I did test with the 10 times multiplier and I couldn't find yellow screwdrivers, I could only find red ones. I'm like,
yeah.
what's
So,
going on?
so Yeah, so it behaves odd,
Yeah.
and we will not. There is no guarantee that if we increase the numbers, that you will get more of these kind of things that you want. The thing which is good news that is that we already have let's say whole spawning system in rework
Okay.
that will allow much more control over the stuff that is being spawned. I'm not just talking about items, specific items, but also places which you will be able to choose to have specific items. Or, for example, there will be much bigger chance for you to find some food in kitchen and but you will still have a chance to find something else which is not that common in the kitchen, but it's common in the household. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so I made the whole system maybe a year ago. Unfortunately, we didn't have any uh, available programmer to handle it because it's not easy task. So we have our programmers are not all capable to do all features. Juniors cannot be assigned with difficult stuff. So and the seniors are usually like let's say 10 of them in the company are usually handling the most important things in the game. And again, when we look at the importance of features, then it's always like if spawning is currently working,
Mm.
then it's better to have something else than dedicate a lot of time to make a new version. The plan is to have a new version before 1.0, full release of the game. So eventually, yes, it will be in the game, but we will probably not gain anything with tweaking the numbers, because the whole system in the background, which is linked with Unreal Engine, simply gives really strange results. Our guys, Q&A guys, have loot simulators. They don't have to, go through the game and try to find specific items, because when we add something new item in the game, we need to find it in the game
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so that we are sure that it's getting spawned.
Yeah.
Instead of that, they have these like loot simulators, and they just run them, and they gave them the list of items that are like spawned in spawners and waiting for players. And
Mm.
there is where they can check what is actually being spawned and in which numbers. And the worst part is that, and I had a lot of conversation with them each time we test the game. I always report stuff that are either you cannot find, like backpacks, or you can find on each corner, like leather jackets, for
Yeah.
example. And the response is always like that. We have tried, we have tweaked the numbers, but the system simply after a certain amount of difficulty finding, after reducing the loot, simply freaks out.
Yeah.
Freaks out, and you simply cannot have a good control over it. But hopefully we will fix that with all the spawning system rework.
Okay, so it won't be like the big chart that you showed us years ago. You've got a more simplistic, not
Yeah.
simple, but a more fine tuned system.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And the thing is that the plan is that this system will also allow admins to have much better control when the loot is spawned. And for example, if you want to have a lot of uh, metal scrap, which is not that important, but people will need to have them on the island to build the base or to do
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And for example, right now you can find a lot of them, but it's spawned like each 45 minutes or I don't know, or stuff like that. So you will be able to define time, how often you will be able to find another type of loot.
Mm.
So maybe you can define that SVDs can be spawned like each 7 days, new SVDs, while like low-level loot like metal scrap can be spawned in like each 10 minutes. So this will give a totally different perspective because currently spawning is related with server restart. So people go to bunkers and then they loot the whole bunker, and then server restarts and then they just do it again with this like sort of time frames for spawning. It will not happen anymore, no matter of server restart or stuff like that. So
Oh, so you will be able to counter log hopping, which a lot of people do.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Uh,
That's
we
great.
will, we will, yeah, we will also, for these kind of features, we will also give private server owners, admins, choices to turn it on or off. So it will be optional.
Okay, I'll definitely turn mine on because the log hopping, yeah, the log hopping is negative for people that actually explore the map. Because you go to you go to a bunker and it's empty. It's like there's no player here. I never catch a player here, but he's just basically spawning in, clearing the area, or just looting the two armories, logging out and coming back half an hour later. You check. And the guys who are exploring the map, they almost never find something in the armory because that clan has maybe focused the four armories around them, or the four bunkers around
Yeah,
them, and they make sure that they get the best loot in there. Or like some of the PvP players' favorite spot is just camping the office in the naval base, because they know that's the best
yeah,
spot in the game. But okay, let's get through this quickly, Tommy, because we're already almost on 2 hours. Like I said, you can just replay this back. You don't even have to take notes. The refuel zones can be increased. What I'm saying is, when they brought out the planes, I could refuel the plane miles away from the fuel pump. Okay, now I have to be on top of the fuel pump to refuel it. Like my wing almost has to touch the fuel pump to refuel it. Maybe they can just get it in between. I
yeah,
don't want
sure.
people to park on a road to refuel their planes, but they can just make it a little bit wider so that inexperienced players don't bump their wing into more stuff, and lose their plane and feel the planes are made out of paper or whatever the
Sure,
case
sure.
may be. And then
Not a problem.
bike parts in forests. I love a bike. Whether I crash and burn or I don't really care because I just love ramping all over the place. But I do feel that a lot of people don't want to because of the repair kits, that are also difficult to find. So I was wondering, we've got gravel roads, we've got yellow roads. Because there's bikes in the game, maybe the map creator can just throw lines through the map where it looks like just bikes have ridden, like bike paths through different forests, just to make it a little bit easier for the people who don't like riding into a rock or a branch or a tree or, many of the thousand things that can stop them from going through a forest.
Okay.
And then the cruiser and the dirt bike. At the moment, in a dirt bike, there's a power band. I know you like bikes, so you know what a power band is, eh?
Yeah,
Okay, so the cruiser goes up hills like nothing. The dirt bike can't go up a hill like nothing. Maybe just, I don't know, switch switch the two, or buff the dirt bikes to be a lot more powerful for upheavals. Like Travis Prostana and those guys do on dune hills. Just give the dirt
Yeah,
bike a bit more utility, like in real life, because the cruiser can go up a mountain like nothing, but not like nothing, but you understand what I'm saying.
yes, yes,
A cruiser is a lot more powerful, where the dirt bike is actually supposed to be the king of
yeah,
power. Okay.
yeah.
And yeah, then the other thing is testing. Any chance that you can ever have a dedicated team that's made out of people like me that can test the patch before you bring it out, so that you don't get so many people bombarding you with insults or whatever the case would be, or unhappiness? Is there a way to get a dedicated team that can
Yeah,
dedicate themselves to testing something a day beforehand?
we have alpha testers,
Yeah.
alpha testing group. You should talk with Q&A about that. But these guys are usually uh, used before big updates.
Yeah. Okay. Just
For
massive updates. Yeah.
yeah, for smaller updates, we're so agile with them that it's really hard to because all these people have their lives and
Mm,
their jobs and everything, and it's quite hard to organize everything that we have them in 1 hour when the testing is
yeah.
getting ready, or so uh, for smaller updates it's impossible, but for bigger updates we have a team of people who is testing the game, if obviously if there is enough time. On some updates they were really helpful. On some updates which were practically released over the night, they did some testing, but uh, things sometimes went bad. But
Yeah. Of course.
no matter how much people you have in testing group, and that's usually somewhere in between like 30 to 50, 60, it's you're still pretty much limited with the time and everything, and resources. So um it's always like I would say it's impossible to get a good feeling for the patch, unless of course we test it internally for at least a couple of weeks, which is I don't know, an option. But then again, you have options to have all of us working, I would say testing the game for 1 month for let's say each bigger update, or working on features, and
Okay.
then you
So,
can yeah.
but what I'm asking, people like me can make that a test group bigger.
Well, yeah, sure. Best to talk with Q&A, and they're handling that. It's not my
Okay.
responsibility. So.
Okay. So, finally, the developer in charge of bugs, Kick solved my first bug video. My first video that I just showed out big bugs. So when I want to talk to someone about bugs, who am I talking to? Who do I want to
Uh,
talk to?
you can talk to him. You can talk to him. He's handling bugs. Just
Okay.
don't talk to me.
Okay. Map related issues.
Also him. Everything related bugs, so whether they're like visual crashes, map items, everything goes to Q&A. So, and then they sort all the bugs and they just forward them to their owner, so to speak.
Okay, so anything, puppet falling through the map, a tree hanging in the air, anything just goes Kick.
Everything, everything goes to Q&A. Everything. That's their job to handle all the bugs, all exploits, cheaters. Everything that gets discovered and it's not as planned goes to them, and then that just sort everything out and assign bugs to specific people.
Okay, well, Tommy, thank you very, very much. I just wanted 20 minutes. You gave me 2 hours. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, Yeah, hopefully we can maybe do this once a year, once every 2 years. I know your time is very valuable, but from me personally, I just want to say thank you, for giving your time. Of course, the interviewer has always got an idea, but you come in blind.
Yeah.
I've got an idea how it's going to go, but I mean, it's
I'm sorry, but you should warn me earlier to get the build. I was I really didn't think of it because I'm in so many things right now that I cannot think straight.
yeah,
So,
yeah, no, no,
but
it's not a problem. I'm just happy that you didn't tell me, hey, bye at 30 minutes. But yeah, from me and my community, I know my community loves the game insanely. If anyone comes to our chat, I always say it's the best survival game on the planet, and it is to me. I've played everything out there, and I wish I believe me, and I think the entire Scum community wishes you all the best. And just remember, for one hater, there's like 100 lovers. There's 1,000 people that loves the game, but you only hear the guy that's complaining because we're playing it. You understand?
yeah, it's always like that, and even with the guys that are complaining, I'm still trying to see the passion, behind everything because he obviously is playing the game. He gets frustrated a lot, and I'm also, in several occasions I was so mad when I lost my gear and my car and everything, and I couldn't find the corpse and that stuff. So I understand the frustration because I felt it also.
Mm.
So as long as I'm not totally stressed out by other things, I can accept critique, and I understand that these things happen, and I'm sorry, but it's still early access, so you can expect more of it until we finish the game. So
Yeah,
it's like that.
I believe there's a massive crowd. I mean, you guys sold a lot of copies, when the game came out. So I believe there's a massive title wave waiting, to come back into the
Yeah,
game. But a big part of that wave doesn't like any issues, But I mean, the core base is still here, That, and like I
yeah,
say, any ways that you guys can ask us to support you financially or whatever the case may be, please do so, because again, I feel the haters are overwhelmed by the fans, of this game. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you personally for your time. And I have played every single survival game. If there is almost no game where I can do what I'm doing right now and talk to you, be
thank
talking
you.
to you. There's no other game like that, guys. So please look at the positives here. Please look at the developers, that they down to earth. They make jokes. They do funny things. You guys asked me the other day, why is there yellow snowballs? They don't need to be there, but they're there for a reason. Okay, for
Yeah,
comedic stuff. So please understand what these guys go through, and if there's ever a DLC again, guys, we're just gonna support them. We don't care if they give us a guy with a rocket launcher. We're still gonna support them. Okay, we'll throw the rocket launcher down when we spawn, but we'll still pay for the DLC. So Tomislav, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you
thank
very,
you.
very, very much. And so, if I wanted any technical interviews later down the line, I'll probably talk to the technical director and Kick.
Yeah, Leva is for you. He will be able to answer all the technical stuff.
Okay. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Really appreciate
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Bye.
it. Cheers.